Welcome to Life in the 70s. Last time I said I was going to talk about the big black void. I had been sharing with you what I had learned about inspiration as a long-time artist and how that's transferred across to my writing. And so today I'm going to share with you what the big black void is and why it is so important to your writing. Let's get started. Welcome back. So let's get started talking about the big black void. Do you know what it is? If you do, then you can certainly create something from it. If you don't, it will hinder everything that you try to do. Most of us don't know it's there, and that's okay. That's why Jung called it the shadow, the unconscious, what's hidden. But let's have a look at what it actually is. In the void is a great repository, a storehouse, if you like, a bank that draws in every single bit of negative emotion and thoughts that we have not processed. Think about that. That's really quite something. And then because it's hidden, we don't know it's there. But there is a way to find out and how much yours is affecting you. Just, for example, take stock during the day of how many times a negative thought or a negative emotion stops you in your tracks and what you do about it. So am I saying, no, you can't get cranky or angry? Of course not. I get cranky and angry all day long, but I don't stay there. You process it. You do something with it. You don't deny it or pretend it wasn't there, because it was. It's an energy. Thinking and emotion both generate energy, and energy has to go somewhere. So I learned from years and years of painting how to work this. And it wasn't until I actually started writing that I actually realized what I had been doing all those years. And so being able to sort of harness this and talk about it was something I found very easy to do, because I'd already been doing it for 30 years. In the beginning, if I got stuck with an idea in a painting, didn't know what to do, I got like most people, I just got frustrated and angry. And then something happened over time. I found I wasn't doing that anymore. So I could be looking at a black canvas halfway through something and now I don't know what to do. I'd just go and make a cup of tea, maybe walk some circles, maybe pick up a brush or a pastel, and I'd just do something with it. And that was when I realized that what I was doing was working the void, working my inspiration that was there, that was buried. So let's just stick to writing for the moment. Just over a year ago, I switched from painting, which I'd been doing for many years, to writing. I decided I wanted to write seriously, and I had nothing more than an idea. About a year and a half later, one book finished and published. This particular book, full of my artwork as well, and my life with horses, also finished and published. This book, which was my original idea that I had for 6 years before I decided to do anything about it, now going through its final edit. This book, a sequel to In the Shadows of Eros, following the same pattern. What inspired me in both these creative things, in art it was always about something that I felt strongly about, and I switched to horses, and when I started painting horses a particular way, it just felt right for me. With writing, those of you who read any of my work will see that I'm very strong about two particular aspects: religious ideology that tries to mold us into something, and conformity and morality that try to mold us into something, things that literally drown our creativity. So now let's look at what actually happens and what this looks like to us once our inspiration starts to come through, once we work it. So there's 4 books finished, and I wanted to start another with just the very barest idea of something in mind and not a single clue on how to structure the book, who was going to be in it. So what did I do? Gave myself a break, which I needed. That's important because inspiration can drain us enormously, especially when we're working it. And then I thought, okay, in between things, I'll get started on this new idea. This is what it looks like in the beginning. So bits and notes scribbled down on reused paper. Something about a family, a life situation, their prominence in society, just really general ideas, a climax possibility. And is there going to be a resolution? I don't know. Who are they going to be? They will be young people. But central to the new idea, I had always had this with me about certain people that I see in the world as being different. And I wrote this down. They cannot belong to the world as it is, for the world demands, sets parameters for expression and freedom. And these, for the fragile ones, which I had called them, are too constricting. They must carve out their own. So now I had a philosophy for the story. Next, little things over the days just popped into my head, things that catch your attention. I took notice of those that did for me. So then I thought, okay, I've got an idea now. So research. I started to do some research, printed it off because this I will keep and use. Working the field. That's how I do it. I think that the trap for a lot of people is they want something to just pop into their head, and it's not going to, because the black void is going to stop it. Because the black void is that part of us that has got so used to sucking in every bit of negativity that we have ever unprocessed. And it just influences what we want to do with words like I can't, or I wish I could be like somebody else. You have to work it. That's what I do. That's what I did for 30 years until I learned to transfer it into writing. And when I was able to transfer it into writing, I could see what I was doing. That's what I'm sharing with you now about inspiration and working the negativity, the black field. The point that I'm making about who you are. And this is what the black field will deny you until you get a good look at it, the big black void. Your creativity is not what you produce. Ask any artist or writer that. If you want to write something and just sell it out to a market, then you will produce something. If you want to write something that you feel very strongly about, that you feel good about, that feels like your contribution to something, that's your creativity at work. It's not what you produce. Your creativity is who you are. I'll see you next time.